Let him ask in faith. How do you ask in faith? What does it mean to ask in faith? What is your faith supposed to be in as you ask? Because the downside is so definite. Let not that man who doubts suppose that he'll receive anything from the Lord. So this really causes a problem when you want to get answers to your prayers. If we don't do this right, it can be. Now, I'm not saying that it is, but it can be the reason for unanswered prayer, doubt. And it's something that we're capable of doing because he told us to. Notice, if we weren't all capable of doing it, he wouldn't have said, when you pray, don't doubt. He would have said, now some of you aren't going to be able to do this, but for those of you who can, here's what you do. You ask in faith and believe. For the rest of you, try it again later. He didn't say that. He says, look, if you're going to do it, then you ask in faith with no doubting, as if you have control over that.
Yeah, come on.
And you do. Thomas acted like he had no control over whether he believed that Jesus was alive or not. He just said, look, I just can't take that leap. I'm just not capable of believing he's alive. I'm going to have to put my hand in his side, and I'm going to have to put my fingers in the nail. Who came up with that standard? Thomas. He just made that up. There's no book. There's no manual that says when you put your hand in his side and put your finger in the nail scar's hands, then you can believe. But until then, most people just aren't going to be able. No, he could have believed. He just chose not to. He wasn't willing to go that far. So when it comes to doubt and unbelief and faith, it's something we can do. And my contention here is not to say that if you haven't received your healing yet, you aren't believing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying if you haven't received your healing yet, manifested, you're in some kind of secret sin. I didn't say that. That's not my point. My point is, this is so important that we need to not assume that we're doing this right, and let's examine it and make sure that we are fulfilling these responsibilities. Are you with me? And anytime you start talking about faith or personal responsibility, people get offended. Like I'm saying, well, you're just saying I'm not believing God. I don't even know you. I'm just saying one of the hurdles or one of the problems that people face when they deal with these things is asking in faith. Because if you don't ask in faith, then you're like a wave of the sea. Let not that person think that they receive anything from God. And can I just say this, that I believe people are quick to ask. They're ready to ask. They want to ask, but they're just not ready to believe. There's a difference between asking and believing. So everybody's ready to ask, but I think we need to back up and get ready to believe. If it's that important, if this could nullify the effects of my prayer, if I don't do this right, then maybe we should back up. And that's why you would know this, Daniel, but I could go to churches and have healing lines and lay hands on people, and some of the people have been prayed for 100 times. And they want to come and let me do it 101. And they haven't received, they didn't receive, they were ready to ask. But I don't think they were ready for what comes after the asking.
Yes. Good.
That's good.
And for the time that may come where they're going to have to believe, because faith has no expiration. Faith goes into effect, and it's now. It never changes. Are you with me? And you've got to be ready for that to be challenged. And you know, actually, he didn't say wisdom would come instantly. He said you've got to believe instantly. Healing doesn't always come instantly, but you do have to believe instantly.
Right.
So many times, people will pray for healing and then check to see if the symptoms are gone. There isn't any room for faith in there. You went right to the symptoms to see if you can now believe you're healed. That's not the progress. That's not the progression. So Thomas said, I'll believe, all right, but I need to see him. Well, Jesus wasn't happy with that, was he? He really rebuke Thomas. He rebuked all of them because they didn't believe that he was alive. And it's because they could have. But they didn't. You can believe. Everybody say, I can believe. Say, I'm a believer. That's what I do.
Greg Fritz Ministries wants to give you a free booklet entitled Jesus Our Substitute that accompanies this television series as our gift to you. To receive your free printed copy of our new booklet, call us at 918-878-8000